Webster assessor to the stars, Donna Comar. And some things that we've heard about last year. Well, I'll hand it to Donna.
So what did you want to say?
No, I mean, these items you're gonna talk about, we did talk about last year. Actually, one of them, the fire volunteers, we voted on, but it's a fluid world and there's changes, and here you are to explain it to us.
Yeah, okay, so I guess I have a PDF in front of me. I don't know how it looks on the screen. I could pull up the PowerPoint,
It
it'll
looks
be
great.
larger. Can everyone see it all right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll rock and roll with this. Thank you for having me. I wanted to refresh things because, you know, we were here recently to talk about legislative changes to an exemption being made available in Monroe County only for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers. This one I have tagged Take Two, like in Hollywood, because we get to do it again so soon. This is going to be my topic at the fall conference because now this is statewide. So, my presentation to you this evening is that we have a current law. Per state statute, real property tax law 466-K, which was specific to Monroe County municipalities at local option, and Webster did adopt that option in February 28, 2022. That allows a 10% exemption for the primary residence of certain volunteers for fire and ambulance, and they must have at least 2 years of service, live within the municipality that is served by the district for which they serve. The service duration is certified by the district for which they serve. And we also adopted a lifetime exemption option back in February of 22. That is 20 or more years of service will be honored if the service was somewhere in Monroe County. So if someone moves from another municipality, has 20 or more years of service, what Webster is saying is we'll welcome you to our community and continue to provide you with that exemption because we are offering the lifetime exemption. If they're under 20 years, they must live here and serve here. But let's just say somebody wanted to move from another part of Monroe County into Webster and they already had 20 years of experience, we would honor that exemption and continue it for them, now that they are becoming a Monroe County or a Webster town resident.
But below that it said, I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
Sure,
Below
absolutely.
that it said, would be honored if the service was in Monroe County.
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
Okay.
So you have to get to 20 or more years before it's service outside of the municipality and the district for which they serve. Okay? So a Northeast Joint Fire District firefighter who's a volunteer who lives in the town of Webster would be able to live anywhere in the town of Webster, not necessarily in the Northeast Joint Fire District, and get the exemption that you approved, 10%. Because Northeast Joint Fire District serves the municipality of Webster. So we offer that to that service person, volunteer, okay? If there was somebody who was working for another municipality, I don't know where all the volunteer firefighters are, but let's just say Charlotte, okay? And they have 20 years or more of experience there in service, but then they want to retire and they want to move to Webster. If they have 20 years experience in Charlotte, we will honor that here in Webster. That's what we're doing.
But not if they were in Wayne County.
Not if they're in Wayne County.
Okay, that's
Right.
right. Okay.
Okay, yep. Another part of the county is what I was trying to say. So the legislation, now what is happening is that there's a new statute, and it's real property tax law 466-A. And right now, there are actually two readings of that. One is in existence from being the original volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers exemption. But what has happened is, over time, these exemptions have been written, 1 or 2 counties at a time, and there are 11 existing similar, but not identical, sort of exemptions for firefighters and ambulance workers that are volunteering their time to serve their community. On December 9th of 2025, it was signed by the governor that there should be one. And what happens is all of those 11 existing similar statutes, one of which is Part K, ours for Monroe County, will be repealed. It's going to disappear. And unless the town board does something, and unless Monroe County and whoever else has already approved it, actually the fire district has to approve it as well to offer a discount on their tax line on the bill. The exemptions will disappear, and so I'm here to ask you to continue it forward. I know 2025 seems like a long time away, but I'm going to get to why I'm asking you now. So if the taxing jurisdictions do nothing before that repeal date, the exemptions will cease. It will replace all those existing exemptions that now serve 20 counties with one common language statewide for all 62 counties in New York State. It requires the same action taken by the taxing jurisdictions as recently done. We did that last February to conform to the new state statute. The new legislation reads this way. You're going to see it looks very, very familiar. Allows up to 10% for primary residence. The key word there is up to, because some of those were not offering 10%. Ours was offered at 10%, no options. You had to take the 10% or not approve the exemption. Others of those 11 other statutes read 5%. So now the new statute reads up to 10%. Technically, you have an option to reduce that 10% because the new statute does read up to 10% exemption. And again, the same thing for the years of service. I would just call your attention to the minimum years now are somewhere between 2 and 5. And again, that comes from historically the other exemptions that have been approved under different statutes that were not available in Monroe County varied on how many years of minimum service you needed. By the time they got around to writing the one for Monroe County, it was given to us as minimum 2 years service. You must live in the municipality that is served by the district for which they serve. The service duration is certified by the district for which they serve. All that's very similar, very exactly the same actually. And it provides for a lifetime exemption option, local option, which you have already adopted. The new part is below. It provides an additional provision for continuation of an exemption to an unremarried spouse of a member with at least 5 years of service that is killed in the line of duty in this capacity as a volunteer firefighter or ambulance worker. That is a local option. So that is something that you will need to consider new and afresh, and that is to continue a benefit. They must already be receiving the exemption, and it would go to the spouse as long as that spouse is unremarried if the volunteer is killed in the line of duty. The second provision that would be new that you need to apply some thought to is that it would provide an additional provision for, again, continuation of an exemption under different circumstances. It would be to the unremarried spouse of a member with at least 20 years of service. Again, you would need to approve that provision if you so desire. Any questions on the difference between the two laws? So here's an update and why I'm here today. On May 9th, 2023, Monroe County adopted that new language to replace their portion of the real property tax law 466K specific. So now the assessor's office will be administering 466A for county purposes. It'll be easier for all of our residents, the people who are receiving these exemptions and such, if all the rules were the same. They preserved their option for lifetime exemption, which was exactly the same that you have offered. And they also adopted the two unremarried spouse provisions to continue benefits under those circumstances. So your options today. Today it's a discussion, so today I'm asking you if you would like to consider it further to set a public hearing. Your options are by March 1st of 2024, of course you can do nothing. If you do nothing, I suggest that you do revisit it before the expiration date, but you don't have to do anything today. Second option is to review the options and adopt the new language to preserve the existing exemptions and or offer those new options. Or you can revisit the whole thing in a future meeting. And again, I would recommend that you do it before it expires on December 9th, 2025. if you don't do anything for the same assessment role that the Monroe County has already adopted theirs, it just becomes a little bit difficult to explain to people why they might get a provision that the county offers that we don't offer. I suggest that we have minimal impact because it would be for the unremarried surviving spouse. Otherwise, it conforms exactly the same as the other. I would anticipate that you would leave the exemption level at 10% and the minimum years at 2, as has already been adopted. The question is for the unremarried spouses. So it's not urgent except for the 1 or 2 people that might apply to. I can think of one. Any questions I can answer? No, you did a great job. Thank you.
Do you want to roll right into the 2 new ones?
Do you want to take a resolution and continue this thought? Or is that what you're saying?
Well, I think.
I have 2 other exemptions to discuss with you.
Right. Now, when you get to our options, number 2, review the options. That'll be, let's do a public hearing and let's get this new law put in now. I don't have any problems with that because I have a lot of reasons I don't have any problems with it. Does anybody have a problem with us moving forward with this now?
No.
And you want the public hearing notice has to be in the paper like 5 days before. So we put it in the Webster Herald, let's say for the Wednesday the 20th. We would do the public hearing at the 28th. That's a workshop.
That would be entirely up to the board.
And I don't have a problem doing it at a workshop. Does the board have a problem doing it at a workshop, the public hearing on this? Doesn't sound like they do. All right, well, in that case, can I make a motion to set a public hearing concerning legislative changes to the volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers exemption RPTL 466A, and to have that public hearing notice advertised in the Webster Herald's Wednesday, September 20th, 2023 edition, and the public hearing to be held on Thursday, September 28th at 5:30 p.m. in the Webster Town Board meeting room. That is my motion.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill, Councilwoman Wynn,